Satat Gyanarjanam. I hope you all are fine, and today we are going to start our class 11th chemistry, and we are going to start with a chapter that is structures of atom. As you know that this chapter of class 11th belongs from physical chemistry. So today we are going to start with this chapter. As you know, already in your class 9th you have a chapter that was structure of atom, the same chapter, but in that chapter you have understood different experiments. That was I think it was cathode ray experiment, anode ray experiment. Then we have talked about different atomic models like Thomson's Plum pudding model, Rutherford alpha particle model, and Bohr's model, a little about Bohr model, but we haven't understood in very detail. And in this class, in class 11th, we are going to start with our revision of some of the experiments like cathode ray experiment, anode ray experiment, then different atomic models which consist of J.J. Thomson's model, their features, their drawback. Then we are going to talk about Rutherford's. Then we are going to start our detailed discussion of Bohr model. So in this chapter you can say that we are going to do a deep analysis of Bohr's model. So in this whole chapter the Bohr's model will be discussed, and then after some time most of the scientists were assuming that there is no drawbacks in Bohr's model, and it is successful model. It is successful and most accepted model. But after some time, due to some of the scientists came and they used to give some of their own theory, which has proved the Bohr model as wrong, and then they formed, and many scientists, they found that there is also some of the drawbacks which is found in Bohr's model. So this is what we are going to talk in this whole chapter. In last, we will complete this chapter by understanding our electronic configuration of different types of elements. We are going to talk about, like, if we will take the different types of elements, like if you are taking lithium, we are going to talk about how can we write the electronic configuration of this lithium. Okay, so we are going to end this chapter in this way, but let's start. What is our today's topic? Our today's target is cathode ray experiment, anode ray experiment, J.J. Thomson's Plum pudding model. Actually these topics are given so that you can start from basic, and understand each and everything, and it is just for making your base strong. Even if you can't recall, if you can't remember the things which you have already studied in class 9, there is no things to worry. You will understand each and every topic in this chapter. So first of all, this is lecture number 1, and about 13 to 14 lecture will be given in this chapter, because this chapter is little bit lengthy. But the interesting thing is, when you will start continuing this chapter after some topic like Bohr, after starting of the Bohr model, you will start getting an interest in this chapter. Yes, this chapter is very easy, not I can say very easy, but it is very easy. But the drawback is it is very lengthy. Okay, so be with me and let's start our today's topic. Let me write here, this is lecture number 1. Cathode ray experiment, anode ray experiment, J.J. Thomson's Plum pudding model, in which we are going to talk about its feature and drawbacks. Let's start. Our first experiment, that was cathode ray. But before starting our cathode ray, I am going to talk about some of the basic information about the atom. As you know that for every matter, as can you recall that in our body, in the living organism, the cell is the basic, fundamental, smallest unit? Yes, in the same way, the atom is the basic, fundamental, and smallest unit of the matter. Now what is matter? It is actually very basic things, but let me tell you that what is matter. Matter are those things which have their own mass and occupy some space. If anything, if I'm taking anything, for example this is pen, and if I'm saying that this is matter, why? Because it is fulfilling both the criteria of matter. What are those criteria of matter? Yes, that is its mass. Does it has mass? Yes, of course it has mass, but it has mass. Then is it occupying space? Okay, if I'm putting this on my hand, it is occupying some space for itself. Okay, so it means it is completing both the criteria of matter. So it is simply a matter. This pencil is simply a matter. So the matter has a smallest unit, that is known as atom. That is what an atom is. Then some of the students, in some books it is written molecules somewhere. Halaki both the atoms and molecules are totally different from each other. Atom is a single particle, okay, whereas group of atom are known as molecules. Okay, this is another term, okay, which I have used already in introduction to chemistry. You have already understood what is molecule, what is atom, matter, what are pure substances, compound, mixture, okay, pure substance, impure substance. Okay, if you have not cleared those concepts, you can go and find my video, that is introduction to chemistry. So do you know who is Dalton? Okay, so Dalton was a scientist who has given his own theory, that is known as, that even today it is very famous, that is Dalton's atomic theory. Some of his theory are true, but most of his theory given in his most of the statements in his theory, like he said that atom is an indivisible particle, means you can't divide the atom. But as you know today, that atom has its own subatomic particles. What is that? That is electron, proton and neutron. Means our today's modern atomic theory has contradicted the Dalton's atomic theory. So in before certain period of time, people used to believe, according to Dalton's atomic theory, that okay, atom is या फिर परमाणु, ठीक है, atom या परमाणु is the indivisible particle. You can't divide the atom. But it was proved wrong by Cathode Ray Experiment and Anode Ray Experiment. Okay, how this was contradicted and how people got this idea that atom also has something inside it. Yes, atom is not indivisible. Actually, if you will take a comb and if you will comb your hair, then you have then why it is attracting piece of papers? Why? There is something in this. Okay, if you will wear winter clothes in winter, when you will put out those clothes, you can see that it is making some of the sounds, and even sometime it used to make a little bit very small lightnings, okay, which is not harmful, but it used to sometime you can see it, you can observe it in a dark room, okay. So how is it occurring? Okay, and these are some situation which has contradicted and makes the scientist to get this idea that why this situation is occurring and why this condition is coming. It means something is inside the atom, and atom is not indivisible particle. Let's start cathode ray experiment, our first. So from cathode ray experiment, actually what happens, let me tell that according after understanding cathode ray experiment, you will understand that the electron was discovered. In cathode ray experiment, our negatively charged particle, that is electron, was discovered. Then in case of anode ray, after understanding the anode ray, after the scientists have completed the Anode Ray experiment, they have got to know about a positively charged particle, that is proton. But till now, the neutrons was not discovered, because as you know, the neutrons has neither positive charge neither negative charge. Okay, so it is not going to show any effect, and because it is not showing any effect, for most a long time has been passed, and there was no idea of neutrons, that even some of the neutral particles can also be present inside the atom. So let's start with the cathode ray experiment. Let me draw a diagram first. So first of all, let me tell you that this cathode ray experiment was done by J.J. Thomson. You should learn it. And what was his setup? I am going to draw. So J.J. Thomson has taken a hollow tube, and inside that hollow tube he has fitted two electrodes. Okay, two electrodes, and this electrode was connected to electrical source. Now assume this as positive, and assume this as a positive terminal, and this as negative terminal. So this is positive electrode, this is negative electrode. So first of all, do you know that positive electrode is also known as anode, and negative electrode is also known as cathode. So let me write here. Anode and cathode. Then what he has done, the J.J. Thomson, he has made a surrounding of very low pressure inside that hollow tube, which was about 10 raised to the power minus 4 mmHg. Okay, it was a magnitude of the pressure inside that tube, low pressure. Now this was all the setup. When he has given electricity of about 10,000 to 20,000 of volt of electricity, what happens? Do you know what happens? That let's recall that what is our setup, then continue it. We have a hollow tube. J.J. Thomson has taken a hollow tube. Inside that hollow tube, first of all, he has taken most of the air and maintained an atmosphere of low pressure, which was about 10 to the power minus 4 mmHg. Now he fitted two electrode, that is cathode and anode, which was connected to electrical source. Okay. Now this is anode, this is our anode, this is our cathode. So what happens when he has given electrical supply of 10,000 to 20,000 volt? What happens? From the cathode, means from the negative electrode, negatively charged particles start emitting. Now you will tell me, then now you will ask me that how they know it. Okay, how they know that some of the negatively charged particles are moving inside it. So first of all, let me tell you that he has used the fluorescent screen in both sides of the anode as well as cathode and anode. So how they know that it is negatively charged? Because it was attracting towards what? The anode. So whenever, as you know, that same charge attract each other, same charge repulse each other, different charge, if opposite charge attract each other. So this is positive and this is positive and this is negative. It is obviously it will be correct that if it is positively charged and these particles are negatively charged, they will attract toward the negative electrode. So let me draw here. Okay. These are our, let me draw this, let me color it. Now, later, J.J. Thomson told this, he said that the beam of these negatively charged particle, means this is a beam, you know, this is beam, and this beam of negatively charged particle, he had given the name that is cathode ray. So, beam of negatively charged particles. Cathode ray. Now can you tell me why it is given the name of cathode ray? Yes, of course, because it is emitting, it is arising from cathode. It is coming out of cathode. Okay? So this was the setup of cathode ray experiment. So what happens when he has supplied electricity of about 10,000 to 20,000 volt energy, he has observed some of the changes in the fluorescent screen in the side of anode, and from this changes in the fluorescent screen and flashes in his fluorescent screen, he has got the idea, yes, some negatively charged particles are traveling along the anode side. This side means towards the anode. So from this he has taken the idea, he has got the idea that these particles are negatively charged and it is arising from and the cathode is emitting these negatively charged particles. So he has given this beam of negatively charged particle as cathode ray. Now what we are going to talk about it? We are going to talk about properties of cathode ray now. Then these cathode ray was known as electron, means if you will take one particle from the cathode ray, it will be known as electron. But before it, let's talk about the properties of cathode ray. Now we are going to talk about properties our first property of cathode ray was, these cathode ray will be get deflected by electrical and magnetic field. Let me tell you how. You can see that what is the path of these, what is the direction of their motion of these particles. If you cathode ray ka, what is the direction here, what is their path here? Simply it is towards the anode, towards the left. From my side it is towards the left, and towards the anode also. You should understand from the anode. Okay, so its direction is towards the anode. Now how it is telling that the electrical and magnetic field will deflect these cathode ray. What does it mean? Cathode means it will distract these rays from going to its path. Means if they are going to here, they will get deflected to another path. Okay, how it is different? If these cathode ray will come under magnetic or electrical field. So this is the property. Means if you will put any magnet here, okay, this is just an example. So if you will put a magnet here, what happens? Because this magnet has its own magnetic field, okay, and because it has own magnetic field, so it will get deflected. Simply it will get deflected because of its property. So let me write here that the cathode ray gets deflected by electrical and magnetic field. Now, what is our second property? Our second property is, let me write first. So, these cathode ray, they carry momentum with them. Momentum. Now, can you tell me what is momentum here and what it is wanting to know you, wanting to tell you from saying that it has momentum? Yes. Actually, as you all know that what is momentum? What actually momentum is? So momentum is mass into velocity. Mass into velocity means if it is saying that cathode ray has momentum, it means it is saying that the particles, these cathode rays particles have their own mass as well as they have their own velocity, which by which they are traveling inside the hollow tube. Okay, so they carry momentum. Third is they travel almost with the speed of light. Yes, as I have already told you that they have their own velocity. So what is their velocity? Their velocity is approximately equal to the speed of light. Okay, our last property of cathode ray is whenever these cathode ray will strike to any heavy metal. What are the examples of these heavy metal? Heavy metals, you can take iron. So whenever these cathode ray will strike on iron, if heavy metals like iron, they will what they will do? They will produce X-ray. Do you know what is meant by X-ray? If you know what is X-ray and what is the use of X-ray, let me know in the comment section. So what does it mean? They are liberating X-ray whenever they will strike with any heavy metal. They will liberate X-rays whenever strike with any heavy metals. Let me highlight it. X-ray whenever it will be struck on a heavy metal. They travel almost with the speed of light. They carry momentum. Also, they get deflected by electrical and magnetic field. Now, these are the common properties of this cathode ray. But now we are going to talk about very important and you can say most important property of these cathode ray. So let me give a sticker here. Yes, this is our sticker. Why I have used these stickers? Because it is very important. Yes, the nature of cathode ray. The nature of cathode ray is independent of the nature of what? It can be gas, or the nature of gases which is filled inside this what? Hollow tube. ठीक है? या फिर nature of what? Hollow gases. ठीक है? What does it wants to convey from telling it? It is telling that the nature of cathode ray is independent of the nature of gases present. Yeah, I haven't written present inside the tube. So, but you have to understood that I'm saying that the nature of cathode ray is independent of the nature of gases which is present inside this what? Inside this hollow tube. So what does it wants to say? That whatever gas you are filling inside that hollow tube, that tube, this will not affect the nature of cathode ray. It means, can I say that if I will take any element's gas, the cathode ray will same? Okay, from this property it is telling that it is independent, it means it will not affect it. So can I say that if you will take atom of any element, their cathode ray will same? Yes, I can say because of this property. Okay. Now, can I say that cathode ray is a fundamental? Cathode ray is fundamental ray. Okay. Why? Because it is not affecting. It is common for all. Yes, we can say. So, as today we know. Today what we know? Today we know that we are just talking about proton and neutron now. But till now, electron and proton now. But till now we haven't completed the proton. So I'm not talking about proton. As you know that each atom, it can be of any element. It has its own electron, its own proton. But do you know, as you know, that these cathode ray consist of electron. So can I say that electron of any atom, electron of elements of any atom will be same? Yes. Yes, of course we can say. Remain same. And I am going to write here as fundamental. This was our conclusion of cathode ray. This was all about the cathode ray. And what is our last conclusion? Our last conclusion is that the electron is same in all the atoms. Okay, if you will take any element and take out the atom from that element, the electron, the properties of electron, the nature of electron will remain same in all the atoms. Okay, that is the last conclusion of our cathode ray experiment. So let us revise it, let us understand quickly, and let us do a quickly recall what we have understood till now. Then we are going to start with the anode ray. Okay, let's start. So we have it was done by J.J. Thomson. J.J. Thomson has taken a hollow tube. You can say that you have to learn along with me. So cathode ray experiment was given by J.J. Thomson. J.J. Thomson has taken a hollow tube. Inside that hollow tube, 2 electrodes were there, and inside that hollow tube there was low pressure which was maintained, which was about 10 raised to the power minus 4 mmHg. Now these 2 electrodes, negative and positive. Positive means anode, negative means cathode. Now these 2 cathode were connected with the electrical sources. Now whenever we will supply electricity of about 10,000 to 20,000 volt of this setup, what will happen? From the cathode ray, some of the negatively charged particle will start emitting. The cathode ray will start emitting particles, a beam of negatively charged particles, which are known as cathode ray because it is arising from cathode. Okay? Now let's talk about the properties of cathode ray. So these cathode ray property, first it is deflected by electrical and magnetic field. Second, it carry momentum. What does mean momentum here? It means it has mass as well as it also has its own velocity too. Then it travels almost with the speed of light. Fourth, last but not the least, whenever it will strike with an heavy metal. Okay? Whenever the cathode ray is striking to any heavy metal, what it will do? It will liberate, it will produce. Okay? It will produce the X-rays. Okay? Okay. Now last and most important property of cathode ray is that the nature of cathode ray doesn't depend, you can say independent of the nature of gases, which is the nature of gas which is present inside that hollow tube. Okay? Now our last conclusion is what is our last conclusion of this cathode ray? Yes, means what is the last conclusion? Means electron in all the atoms. If you will take atom from A element and atom from B element, both these electron will be same, totally same in terms of nature, in terms of properties, etc. Okay? Now let's come to our next topic of what? Anode ray experiment. In this it also has same setup. Okay? एकदम same है. Okay? But the result is different. Now again I'm drawing, and I'm just drawing it a little bit, you can say informally. This is our hollow tube. In this experiment also the hollow tube is taken. Inside that hollow tube, 2 electrodes were fitted. Sorry. Now, in this setup also, the electrical source is there. This is positive. This is our positive electrode. This is negative. Now, it also has low pressure inside it. Low pressure. What was its magnitude? Its magnitude was almost same. That was 10 raised to the power minus 4 mmHg. Now, what was the difference between the anode ray experiment, anode ray setup and cathode ray setup? Yes, when you will exceed the electrical supply from 10,000 to 20,000 to 50,000, means if you will supply the electricity of about 50,000 volt, then what happens? What happens? Then from the anode, some of the ionized particles start traveling, start flowing. Now, how did they know? Because of the fluorescent screen. Okay, this is our fluorescent screen. So now, this beam of ionized particle, this was not told, this was not it was not considered that it is positive particle. No, it was said that it is ionized particle. So, beam of ionized particles are known as what? Anode ray. Now, can you tell me why the name is given anode ray? Why? Because it is arising from the anode, means positive cathode. Sorry, positive electrode. Now, this was about our setup of anode ray experiment, because as we have completed the cathode ray experiment, so almost everything is same, but in last, as you can see that our last property is what? It is independent. This anode ray will be dependent, and that is the main difference between it. And what is the difference in the setup? Yes, the difference in the setup that it is given 50,000 volt of electric supply, and it has used only 10,000 to 20,000 volt of electrical supply. Let's talk about properties of anode rays now. You will be surprised to know that most of the property of anode ray and cathode ray will be same. Yes, it will also means the anode ray will also get deflected by the magnetic and electrical field. Second, it also carry momentum, means it also has its particle also has its own mass and velocity. So it carries it also carry momentum. Our third is also same. Yes, it also travels almost with the speed of light. So you can see that these three properties are actual same. Okay, but in our anode ray, this property was not there. There was no property like this. in case of anode ray. But now let's talk about our main difference that I was talking about. So now again I am going to put a sticker here to mark it as very important. Something very important. Now anode ray is totally dependent. Okay, I think I have written wrong. The nature of anode ray is totally dependent upon the nature of gas. Which gas? Yes, which is present inside this hollow tube. Okay? So gas which is present inside the hollow tube, these ionized particles are totally dependent upon what type of gas present in them. It means, can I say that if I am taking element A, okay, wait for it. So if I am taking element A and element B, if I am taking out cathode ray from it, I'm just representing it with electron sign, and if I'm taking proton from both the element, what will be the relation of the properties of both the element? Yes, simply the electrons in both case will be same. Means this electron and this electron, both these electrons will be same in case of property, nature, etc. But these proton and these proton will totally differ from each other. Why? Because as you know, they are totally dependent of what you are using. Yes. For example, as you know, do you know who are spiritual people? Means we used to say that that person, yogi, who are yogi in our mythology, you can say they are totally disconnected from this material world. They are not focusing on what type of clothes they have, what type of material they have, what type of things they have. But we common people, today's common people, we are totally focused on what type of clothes we are wearing. Okay, what we have, means we are totally focused on this materialistic world. In the same way, you can understand the cathode ray and anode ray. Anode ray is totally disconnected of the gases which you are using, which you are putting inside that hollow tube. It doesn't matter for it. Okay, but in case of anode ray, this is totally dependent, because it is continuing focusing on what type of gases you are giving me, what type of gases you are filling inside that hollow tube. So I hope you have understood. Now coming to our conclusion, as I have already told you that we are going to talk about the conclusion. Now one more thing, that after some time it was said that the individual particle of this anode ray are known as proton, means positively charged particle. Okay? So if I will talk about the electron, they remain same in every atom. But does this proton will same? No, simply not. It will differ. It means it is not fundamental. Okay? It is totally differ. Means it will differ from place to place. Place means here atom. Place to place. Means it will totally depend. It is on you that what type of nature you want from proton, and if you want a different means that type of means if you are saying that I want a type of nature from proton, so you need to take some of the action so that you can get it, because the properties in proton in all the atoms will not be same, because they will differ from each other as they are dependent on the nature of gas present inside it. That was all about cathode ray experiment and anode ray experiment. Let's talk about our next topic, which is J.J. Thomson's plum pudding model. But before starting J.J. Thomson's plum pudding model, I want to give you some intro on it. Okay? So first of all, what happens actually? After discovering both the electron and proton, all the scientists, as I have already told you, that no one even have this kind of idea that even some neutral particle inside the atom can also exist, because it was not showing, this neutron hasn't shown any type of effects, and that's why no one have focused on it, and it was assumed that only two particles are present, that is electron and proton. But as you know that Chadwick later he also has discovered the neutron. So actually what happened after all of the scientists had got satisfied from the cathode ray experiment and anode ray experiment. Now all of the scientists start asking that how these electron and proton are arranged inside the atom. Means if you know, as today we know that the atom is like this, we have nucleus, and inside the nucleus we have neutron and proton, okay? And but around these nucleus we have orbits, inside that orbit we have electron. This is the contribution of many scientists till now, which is like this: J.J. Thomson, Rutherford, Bohr's model. Some other scientists also has contributed towards this modern atomic model. Okay? So at that time the competition starts that how the atomic model will be. So most of the scientists, each scientist has their own imagination, they have their own theories. They are telling about, yes, it will be like watermelon, it will be like plum pudding model, it will be like cake. Okay? So they are giving their own theories. Okay? In the same way you are going to understand in periodic classification, and you will in that chapter you will understand that how each scientist has their own theory on classifying the elements. Some of them are classifying these elements on the basis of our swar, like saregama padhani sa, means musical instruments, musical words. Okay? Then some of them are using some of the other specializations, properties, that is like triad rule, but there's no need to talk about it. Let's come to our topic. So competition starts between these scientists that how these atomic model will be. So our first atomic model was given by J.J. Thomson, scientist. And what was the name of his model? So he has given the name of his atomic model as plum pudding model, या फिर this is also known as watermelon model. And I will use atomic model, I will use the watermelon to make you understand about what he wants to convey us from the model. Okay, so first of all let me show you how he was assuming that atom will be from inside. Now this is our circle. Again, this is our circle, and assume that you have taken a small ball of watermelon. and you have cut it from you can say middle line. Okay, then what type of views you can get? Yes, it will be like this. Okay, I'm just making, wait for it. The watermelon will be something like this. So this is our watermelon, and as you know that inside the watermelon we have small seeds, and these seeds are distributed uniformly. Whatever I want to say from the words that are uniformly distributed. What is uniformly distributed means it has no specific place that where it wants to place, yeah, where it is placed. It has no fixed place. It can present anywhere inside this watermelon. So what he talked about the watermelon, he said, means J.J. Thomson said that this red part is positive part. Yes, this red part is positive part, and this black seeds are like electron which are distributed uniformly. Can you let me know, is it possible? Because as you know that electrons are negatively charged and protons are positively charged. So this was the drawback, that how it can be so simple. Okay, how it can be so simple, and how the positive charged particles and negatively charged particles can live with each other together. Okay, so but one feature which is using till now, which was successful, we can say, the feature of the J.J. Thomson's Plum pudding model, which was true, was that he said that the mass and positive charge is distributed uniformly, and this statement given by him is totally correct and using till now. Okay, but as I have already asked question from you, that how the negative charged particle and positive charged particle can together live, and that was their drawback. This was about his this was all about J.J. Thomson's plum pudding model. So actually why he has used plum pudding model, so for your information, plum pudding model, actually what is plum pudding? So plum pudding is a type of cake which is used in Christmas by and it is a type of dish. But in some books it is also written watermelon model. So there is no any difference between the concept given by him. The concept is same in both cases, plum pudding as well as watermelon. So for plum pudding, let me tell you, So for plum pudding, what he said, okay, wait. For plum pudding, he said that this is cake. Assume this as our cake. And inside the cake, you can see some of the dry fruits, some of the chocolate chips are uniformly distributed on this cake. So these dry fruits are like electrons which are uniformly distributed, and these red part of cake, velvet red part of cake are like positive charge particles. Okay, so it is same in both cases. There is no need for confusion in a watermelon model as well as plum pudding model. That was all about J.J. Thomson's plum pudding model. So I hope you all have understood, and today we have completed our target of our today's lecture, that is lecture number 1. We have completed the cathode ray experiment, anode ray experiment, J.J. Thomson's plum pudding model, features and its drawback. I hope you all have understood everything. If you have doubt and question related to it, you can ask me in comment section. If you like this video, kindly like, and